And just in that time, we had the Battle of Bunker Hill. But anyway, we were on patrol. This is after July. We were on patrol, small patrol. And we came to a very small village, okay? And a few people were shot. Their hands were tied behind their backs, and they were shot. They could have been political people, I don't know. But on the corner of the road, there were 3 children and 2 women. The 2 women were dead. There were 2 little girls and a little boy. The little two girls were full of blood, but they were not dead. They were not hurt. The little boy, his hand was blown off, completely blown off. So I saw that and I ran over. And I yelled for the corpsman and I took my medical pouch and I wrapped his hand. The little boy, I picked the little boy up and he almost strangled me. That's how strong he was. He was about 5, 6 years old. That's how strong he was. He was crying, and so when I was holding his hand, but I took his hand before that and put it in my pocket. I don't know why I did that, but I put my hand in my pocket. Well, the little boy was screaming so much, then the corpsman came over. The corpsman is a medical person. And he says, hold his hand, coagulate the blood. But it was all dried anyway. He says, don't leave him alone, don't stop. So we hailed a medical jeep, and we found out from the local people there that down the road was an orphanage. And this orphanage had a minister, but he was a doctor. I think his name was Kim. And also there was 2 nurses, two Korean females. And before this, I never met South Koreans, because I was always up in the mountains. And there was an army captain from the 2nd Division. He was there for a reason. He was a chaplain. Well, anyway, we get to the area of this orphanage, right? So I take the little boy, and the corpsman took the 2 little girls, and we brought them inside. Well, like I said, the little girls were fine. The little boy, he won't let me go. He won't let me go. It took a little bit to get his arm off my neck, and he had his cheek over here. It was like, he was very strong. So they put him on a table, and the Korean ministers, waved that we got him. And me and the corpsman walked outside. And we got in the Jeep, and I said, oh my God, I got his hand in my pocket. So I went back into the building, and I said, Doc, I got his hand in my pocket. He just looked at me, and he said, the little boy just died. Wow. I cracked up. I literally cracked up. I really started to cry. I cracked up. And it was very, very, very touching. So anyway, we got back to our area, and I was sitting in the bunker, a few of us, and I used to talk to myself. I used to talk to me, it was a guardian angel. I tell you, I used to literally see somebody, to me anyway. So I started to talk and talk and talk, and what came to me was now I know why I'm there. Now I know why I'm there. I'm there to help these children and these civilians, not only myself, to survive. So technically I'm their guardian angel. So that's what changed my whole attitude of the Korean War. Now I said, now I have a purpose. So I said, now I'm going to be a better Marine, and I'm going to be fighting for something that I believe in. Before, I didn't believe in this war. I didn't believe in South Korea at all. And later on in years, I'll tell you, if you get to that part, what my career was. But that was the climax. That was me saying, okay, my heart is yours. My body is yours, my soul is yours. And that's what made me a better Marine. How I feel, my sacrifice in the Korean War, I felt like I was part of creating a nation, okay? And it's like a farmer. I'm the farmer, I plant the seed, and the Korean people grew it. And that's how I feel. I feel that my accomplishment with the South Koreans were enormous. So I took, it's like General Van Fleet did the same thing. He took the Korean army under his wing, I took the Korean people under my wing. I have a lot of friends that are Korean Americans, even in Seoul, Korea. If you go to Seoul, Korea, my name is all over the place there, even east and west, because I do a lot with the Korean people. And I feel that I'm their guardian angel. Now, the Korean government is my guardian angel. Respect and honor us, and I respect and honor you guys. So Korean became our guardian angels. You know what I'm saying? Because it just proved the point. We're in trouble, they gave us 500 million masks. Now Moon decided he's going to help us with our monument. So no other country, and I always say this, the United States has been in 12 wars, 12 major wars. 4 of them were for us, our own internal. 8 of them were for other countries. Out of the whole 8, there's only one country that respects the veteran. It's the Korean War, Korean people.
I arrived in Korea February 2nd or 3rd, 1951. We bought the ship and was in Busan. At that time we called it Busan, now you call it Busan. So anyway, we were there, and about 3 or 4 days later, we was loaded on a troop transport taken up to Incheon. We landed at Incheon and went through Seoul. We arrived on the front lines with the MZ about 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning on February 28th or something like that. And we immediately went into combat fatigue. I was with the 955th Field Artillery Battalion. We was the first Field Artillery Battalion from the National Guard to fire around in combat in Korea. From there, we were all over Korea. Many people ask me what part of Korea you were in. I really don't know. I know I went through Seoul and Incheon and Busan, but that's as far as I remember. I spent 1 year in Korea, and continually the cold was unbearable, but we survived. What we did was we saved a great nation, the nation of Korea. They turned out to be one of the leading financial leaders in the world. And what we faced in Korea, your whole life changes. You become a man overnight. You suddenly realize that there's more to life than just having a good time. There's more to life than just going out celebrating and doing crazy things. Now, you think about what is the effect going to be? How it's going to affect you in the future. And that's what these young people have to do today. How am I going to lead my life? Make my life better. But not only my life, make someone else's life better. And by doing that, I think we helped the Korean people survive a bit of war, but a bit of victory. Call it the forgotten war, I call it the forgotten victory. Because we didn't lose that war. When I was in a plane coming over Korea, I looked out the window and I saw fields, rice paddies and fields and people just before we started to land. And I said, I don't think that the pilot is in the right place because it was Korea. It was Korea that I fought for. And they were there, and it was a whole different world. We landed in the airport. There was people all over the place. The airport itself was a beautiful place to be. We got on a bus. We drove from the airport to Seoul, and I was amazed at the buildings that were there. It was like New York City. And I looked around and I said to my wife, there was nothing here when I was here in 1951. There wasn't a brick atop of a brick. There wasn't a building standing. And the people were all gone. It was just a terrible sight to see. And then I looked around and I said, wow, these Korean people, they knew what to do. We gave them the opportunity. We made them a secure country, and they deserve the credit. They could have just let anything go, but they didn't. They survived. They survived to lead a better life for their people and for themselves. As I said, Korea was a special place. Korea is a special place. It'll always be a special place to me and my family. I was fortunate enough to come home. I was a bit of time over there. I served my country, and I served Korea. And as I said before, many times before, and I tell everybody, I'm so happy that I was able to do something like that. Korea is my monument. I look to that as the best thing you could ever do. And I thank the Korean government for so many generous gifts to us, to the veterans and all. They just shipped over 500,000 masks that were distributed to Korean War veterans in the United States. Another great gift from the Korean government. So we're never forgotten, although it's called the Korean War, we're never forgotten by the Korean people or the Korean government. And again, I owe a sense of gratitude to all of you that remember the Korean War veterans.